Okay, we're back again. There's Kiva once more. Last time we did a corner to corner with these buxas with double crochets. This time we're gonna do a lacy sort of triangle. You'll see what I mean. So I'm just gonna pull this old work that we practiced on last time using the same yarn. And remember, frogging is your friend. Frogging's your friend. Frogs are your friend. I have a lot of little frogs at my desk in the studio. But frogging's your friend, because if you make a mistake, you haven't buffed it, you can just pull it back and try again. So the first thing we do is same thing as if you were making a slip stitch. So you're going to take the tail and drape it over your hand like so, and on the working end of the yarn wrap it twice with crossing underneath. Hold that with your pinky. You're going to go under the first, I'll hook that back one, pull it through, and you'll give it a bit of a twist. This time we're making a magic ring. We're going to go under your working yarn, it's held down with your pinky, and you're going to pull that through the little loop on your hook. Okay, and now you've got this adjustable ring. I'm just going to pull the tail through to the top. You don't really need to, I don't think. I'm going to tighten down that slip stitch. This one we're going to start with 3 chains. Now I know on the corner to corner with the boxes I was using 2 chains for the height of a double crochet, and that's just what works for me. For my tension, 3 looks bumpy and weird. So if you feel like you don't have enough space, add 4. But this is going to be your double crochet and a chain 1, is what this is going to count as. So from your chain 3 on your magic ring, you're going to yarn over into the ring under the tail and everything as if it was a big stitch. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, chain 1, and it is finicky, as you can see. Even I'm kind of struggling to keep it up one way. We'll do 1 more double crochet, pull through 2, pull through 2, and then we'll do 1 more, a chain 1 and another double crochet. So you'll have, and it's a little hard to see I guess, you'll have these 2 double crochet in the middle, this chain, this double crochet, and there's a chain, 1 chain space in between each of them. So once this is your first row, you're going to take your tail and just gently pull it closed like so. And so now you've got your bottom corner. We're going to start with the increase same way with 3 chains and turn. And now in this chain 1 space from the last double crochet, right before that last double crochet on this first row, we're going to go in to that space, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, and now over into this first chain space. You're going to skip this middle V on the other side of these 2 double crochet into that chain space. Same thing again, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, and then another chain 1 and double crochet. Okay, and then from here, same thing, chain 3, turn. You see your chain 1 space here at the end. You're just going to slap one of your little V's in here. Double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. And now between these two V's at the bottom, so where the 2 double crochets meet and there's no chain space in between, you're going to plant one of your V's, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, and the last one in this last space here. And just make sure that you're not going into the chain space between. You'll kind of see now what I mean. Let me finish this real quick. Apologies for the cat, but okay. So you can kind of see what I mean. Let me get up where I can see too. These little V's. See? You don't want to go in between it at that chain 1 space. You want to go where they meet or in the chain space on the ends. Okay? You're going to leave the V's open and that'll create the laciness as it works up. I'm just going to narrate doing 2 more rows. And if you want to start over or go back or need to, you'll listen to something again, go ahead and do that. Whatever you need. I'm going to keep going with a chain 3, double crochet into that chain space, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, just our V, another V in between these 2 on the bottom. That V, of course, being our double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. And between this one and then the last one here in our chain space on the end. Now remember to add that chain 1 extra double crochet because that's where you're doing your increases, is in this space. So last, before we do decreases, there's 3 chains, flip it over like a book, right to left, throw your V down into that space, and then continue putting your V stitches in between the V stitches of the row below. Double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, and because I'm here at the end, chain 1 and a double crochet. Okay, so you've got your little triangle now, and you can use this to make like a shawl or a bandana, just with the increases. You've got a pattern already. Sorry, we're switching. That's the hard part about doing this, is I just want to do crochet for these videos, but DID is my life, so Katrina is gonna finish the decreases, I guess. Okay, decreases start the same way. Apologies, no they don't. Because you're not going to need that space to add the V-stitch on either end. If you've been using 4 chains, you're going to use 3. If you've been using 3 chains, you're going to use 2. So we're just going to do 2 and turn. And instead of putting a V-stitch into this one next, to us where we would for the increase, we're going to skip over this first V-stitch and start between it and the one next to it. And then until we get to the other end, it's just normal. We're just going to keep going in between the V-stitches with our V-stitches. Stitches. Oh. Yeah, us making fun of our own accents. Whoops. Alright, and now when you get to the end, hello Kiva. We do love the voice. Sometimes we'll all get stuck in it. Once you get here to the end where you just have the one V-stitch with its chain space and chains end, you're just gonna actually, JK, you don't have to chain 2. You're gonna throw a double crochet in there, which serves as your chain 2. Okay, so you can kind of start to see how this is turning. One more row and you'll be able to see. So we'll do the same thing, chain 2, turn it over, skip this space right here and go directly to the left of the first V-stitch to put your V-stitch. And then once you again get to the other end where you only have one V-stitch and the end chain space, you're gonna, I keep wanting to chain 2, but that's not how it works. You're gonna double crochet into the space to the left of this last V-stitch. Okay. You can kind of see a little bit better how it comes in. Alright, we're almost to the end now. One more, and I'm not even going to guide you through it this time. I trust you. Because it's just the same as we've done with our decreases. So the body of the pattern is just this V-stitch between V-stitches. I'm here at the end again, so I'm doing another double crochet in that end space. And then turning. Okay, now here's where it gets interesting. You've got this last one, but it's not quite a point, is it? Kiva keeps slipping back in. That's just, this is just what our everyday is like. So if you just see here her coming in and out, so it is. So we just did essentially the same thing here as our first one with the 2 chains on either side of this V-stitch. But to do our point, we're going to chain 2 and then double crochet into the side chain. Okay? There we go. It's a little sloppy and this small. The corners take a little more of a workup to be crisp. No, but it's an easy beginner stitch. You can make blankets with it, you can make scarves with it, you can make shawls, bandanas, all kinds of things. And especially in a lighter weight, like a 3-weight yarn or something fluffy. This looks really nice. Yeah, on the fly, just. You know, our approach to doing these is that we're very grateful to the people who taught us by putting their work, these kind of tutorials online. So I want to be able to make some more available, because you never, as I said in the, we said in the last one, or the last two, I guess. Everybody learns differently. Everything's going to click with everybody differently. So if you feel like you're just not getting it from YouTube tutorials, try a few different creators, try a few different projects, try watching it first before you actually try following along, crocheting along. Try your library. If you have a library card and use anything like Hoopla or Libby, you can also get pattern books and things like that from the library. Yarn stores sometimes have free or very reduced price beginner classes. So look around, find your different resources. I was trying to think earlier also, what would I tell a new crocheter to avoid the pitfalls of frustration and mistakes that I made early on. I think the biggest one is your tension. You just kind of, I tend to use a hook a half size bigger than what's suggested, because I know that my tension is pretty, not quite tight, but I have very firm tension. And that's just kind of where, like, I have a very consistent tension, so I just trust my hands and I work around it by adjusting the tools instead. Don't use black yarn or dark yarns when you start, just because it is so hard to see your stitches and you want to be able to read them and see where you're putting your stitches. Same thing, probably white yarn, just plain bright white yarn is just going to be a confusing mess for you. You want something that you can really see your stitches. You want something honestly a little less silky than this, something a little more like a red heart. You see I think a medium weight, 4 yarn, something that's a little heavy and then has a little bit of a give to it, so that the stitches are larger and more defined, I guess. And self-striping, because it's colorful. It's also fun though, because you kind of get to see your progress as you work through each color, because sometimes that's what I'll do is, okay, once I get to the green, I'll stop, I'll put it down. Yeah, I would definitely start with cheaper acrylic yarns. I do use a lot of acrylic. It's what's available, it's what I like. Partially because I also like to make things that are easy to live with and have a very low maintenance. So the majority of my stuff is, I check to make sure that the maintenance is just wash and dry as normal. So if that matters to you, we'll look out for that. Obviously allergies, look out, or sensory needs too. You'll probably find as you go along that there are just certain yarns you don't want to touch, or certain yarns that you like but are hard to work with. And don't let that be a frustration for you. That it's just the way it is. Yeah, I think that's about it for today. We kind of just decided today and have been planning the logistics to make sure we can actually make it work, because we haven't booked the table yet, but we're pretty much decided that we're going to do a flea market table in a few weeks close to here. It's like $30 for a table for Saturday and Sunday inside, which is great for me. because we take medications that make it very hard for our body to regulate temperature, and it's hot as fuck around here already. I just realized the AC was on. That was probably really annoying, huh? These are early videos, though. It's fine. You know, if you have suggestions, constructive criticism that doesn't involve buying, you know, more than like 20, 30 bucks of equipment, yeah, drop it in the comments. That would be great. There's only so much time and energy I can put into these, so like a lot of editing and that kind of thing probably is not what you'll ever see from me. Unless in some far future I actually have an editor. Yeah, okay. Just going through my brain, making sure that that was everything. I hope you enjoy this. I hope you feel, oh, you know what? I haven't shown, if you don't know how to get anything off the hook, so you finish your very last stitch, right? All you do is slip stitch and then cut the yarn and pull the tail all the way through, and then you have a knot, and then you'll take your yarn needle from there and just weave the tail. I don't really feel super qualified, honestly, to do a tail weaving tutorial, because it's one of the tasks that we don't really love. But yes, you just kind of wind it through enough that it, if you double it back on itself, like say I went here and around and up and then over, as long as I'm putting, you know, tension on it when it's pulled by looping it around, you're good. You're good. I do have my own wearables that I have washed and dried just normal with all my other laundry to see how they do with, and some tails will start to pop out, but not to the point where it comes completely out and unravels. Just little tails at the end of where it had been woven in. Like say it would be a little tail like over here that you can just snip back. I made this little clay moon button for a lovely tarot bag as like a button to wrap the wrap around. And the mice ate the bag. I will probably also be selling these stained glass earrings at that market. These are a prototype, but screw it. I'm rambling because I feel like there's either a switch coming, there's something else we need to say before we turn the camera off, and I'm not really sure who it is or what they want. Hopefully anyone that was here for just crochet has already clicked off, or I don't know, maybe you're interested. It is Mental Health Awareness Month still here in May, so here's you being made aware of the day-to-day of someone with a complex dissociative disorder. There's just a lot of start and stop in our brain. And a lot of, oh, I feel like I almost had that thought. I don't know. I'm gonna call it there. So have fun with this. It gets looser and lacier if you use a bigger hook. I think this stitch serves really well for using a bigger hook with nice big loose stitches. Yeah, screw it, we're just rambling now. Bye.